Before we
Oh,
Good evening, everybody. It is 7:30. What time is it actually? 7:32 by my clock on Wednesday, January 3rd. Happy New Year to everybody. I hope everybody had a great holiday season. I'm getting back in the swing of things now. I appreciate you all joining tonight. For the record, we have in attendance with us Commissioners Dora Witherspoon, Lenise Constant, and Peter Halliday joining by phone. And we have our staff coordinator, Carlos Duque, and attorney Russell Liskoff. And of course, our gracious recorders at Telesco. Thank you. We're going to go to the first agenda item. I'll put up the agenda. Give me a minute. We'll go to our first agenda item, which is the minutes of last month's meeting. Has everybody had a chance to review the minutes? There they are. And we'll just go through if anybody has any changes. Does anyone have any changes on page 1? Any changes on page 2? I have one, which is on October 25th, the Norwalk Housing Authority held a landlord meeting and explained his role. I think that wasn't the Housing Authority. I think it was, Carlos, correct me if I'm wrong. It was joint between us and the Housing Authority, or?
that is correct, yes.
Okay, so we may just want to clarify, because I think that it's the Housing Authority and the Fair Rent Commission explain their two roles or what have you.
Yes.
Any other changes on page 2? Anything on page 3? Anything on page 4?
Yes.
Hey, Fran.
Hi there. On the last paragraph, appraised should be changed to apprised
Agreed.
in both instances. It's APPRISED.
Let's change the meaning of it.
Totally.
And I think that is it, unless there's anything on the last page to change. All right, then I'll take a motion.
I move the minutes approval with that correction.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? All right, motion passes unanimously. There we go. I think the agenda's back up at the top. All right, so the next item on the agenda is the chair's report. We are now in 2024. We've made it. And as I said, I hope everybody had a happy New Year. I hope that everybody had, for those of you who celebrate, Merry Christmas, Happy Kwanzaa, Happy Hanukkah, and whatever other holiday, solstice. Anybody celebrate solstice? Whatever other holidays were going on. I appreciate everybody being flexible with last month's meeting, which we had to miss. But based on what was on the agenda, I thought it was okay going into the holiday season. And we've got some good things to pick up where we are right now.
Thank you, John, for the present.
That's right. And so, and with that out of the way, I will pass it over to Carlos to by the coordinator's report.
Thank you very much. Happy New Year, everyone.
Happy New Year.
If we scroll past the agenda and last month's meeting minutes, we will see the 2023 Fair Rent Commission report. These are the numbers of the amount of individuals or families that came looking for assistance, had questions, concerns, and that I was able to assist. 426 individual families or families, but a lot of them kept coming back, kept calling in, so the number is actually larger. I just didn't put repeated families or repeated individuals coming back in. We can see that rent increase was a high number, especially leading into the spring and summer months. A lot of people came forward with a lot of questions regarding lease terms, people asking for information on how to get my security deposit back. I was able to assist and create letters and templates for those individuals, not knowing how to get the security deposit back.
Did you see it?
Under other, those are the numbers of miscellaneous questions such as people calling in from other cities, people calling in about how to establish and how do we go about establishing our Fair Rent Commission. Cities like Stanford, Trumbull, where it's Bridgeport, they called in, they asked for information. I was able to share some of our forms and I directed them to the YouTube recordings just to see how Norwell handles their meetings. Additionally, last year, they also passed a few new rules that went into effect. Some of them were in October, others January 1st, and others will take place in June or July of 2024. I'm still going through the document. I will discuss it with Russell. But some of the key components of it are for security deposits, the wait time that the landlord should be returning the deposit, it went from 30 days down to 20 days. There's a cap on the late fee of $50 or 5%. Starting June 1st, I believe, or June 1st or July 1st, 2024, the removal of certain eviction records. There's going to be a limit on rental application related fees. And now for protected classes such as senior citizens over 62 and people with disabilities, there's a new mandate where landlords are supposed to notify all their tenants, those housed in 5 or more in buildings that have 5 or more units. They need to notify all their tenants that those protected classes, they cannot be evicted due to lapse of time. Again, I'm going to go with this with Russell. We're going to disseminate and have more information in next month's meeting. And that's all I have for my report.
Thank you, Carlos. It's very helpful, and it's great to see the numbers that you've served and the department has served this year. Very helpful to see. Yes, Fran.
Carlos, that was an excellent report. I would like to see that in writing, if it's possible, because there's some very pertinent information and it shows the importance of why our commission exists. Not only for the residents of this city, but also as a model for other cities who are seeking to implement this type of commission. I think that perhaps you might give a second thought to include the numbers of returning people, because that takes time, and that also shows that how active you really are. Not only do you take the initial, but you have returned questions for whatever reason, but that still takes up time. And it shows how active your office is. With these numbers, it looks like if I were on the council or whatever body that looks at the activity of the commission, it looks like while 426 is high for 12 months, it really isn't that high. And, they may feel that we need budget cuts or something like that. So I think to include those that have made an initial call and then have follow-up questions should be included in your report.
We'll do
Um,
that.
I think, Carlos, you could also talk to Jasmine about what she used to report, because there used to be, I think, a field on the reports she used to provide to, that included the follow-ups, and you can see how she accounted for that and how she recorded that. The other thing I would add to this is the number of complaints each month, which isn't necessarily going to be very high. It may be only one or zero even. But it's good to just know, hey, we can see the pattern of complaints coming in and maybe even the complaints resolved over time. So
Yes, that's the one thing that I forgot over here. The number of complaints that we got this past year and how many were resolved and how many are outstanding.
But overall, I think it's an excellent report.
it's good to see. Thank you.
Thank you.
Also, would it be possible to prepare this? I mean, for 2024, we'll only have 1 month, but to prepare this kind of on an ongoing basis from month to month?
Sure. Once I create a good database with these numbers, I'll just keep adding to it. So we have a system in place called Smartsheet, and I try to pull the report directly from Smartsheet, but it was very complex, and I just didn't want to give all that information to you. So I had to simplify by just pulling out exactly what I needed. But over the last month or two, I started, every time we have follow-ups, I started adding the new line to the spreadsheet. And when I try to pull the report, it somehow it got mixed and I don't know. It's just, I got to transfer to Excel and play around with Excel. But yes, those follow-ups, I'm actually adding them now.
Thank you.
Because that's an extra 5 minutes of a phone call, 20 minutes, half an hour, or yes, it's definitely time that's being consumed during the day.
100%. All right, great. I believe the next item of business is open cases. So we will turn it over to Attorney Liskoff.
All right. Good evening, everybody. Won't take too long on these, I don't think. 1831-23 8 Union Avenue. The landlord wants the rent increase to go from $959 to $1,500 for 1-bedroom tenant. We're still working on this right now. The landlord has gone down to a number. The tenant has thinking about it. They haven't given us a yay or a nay on it. I think next month, if they don't finish getting back to us on what it's going to be, this one has the high likelihood of going to an actual hearing, probably, I would say in March or April. But I'll work on it and I'll see if I can move people to where they need to be. And so I would ask you to vote to take no action at this meeting.
I move to take no action on 1831-23. Fran.
Second.
Thank you, Dora, for the second. Any discussion on this? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Dora, I think you were muted when you said aye. And Peter, you're
I said
muted. too.
aye. Sorry. Thank you.
Peter, you're muted.
Did I get it?
Yeah, I hear you.
Okay.
you
Thanks, honey.
I just didn't hear Peter's on
Lunice
the-
is muted also.
No, Lunice said it though.
Yes, aye.
Oh, okay.
All right. Any opposed? Any abstentions? All right, motion passes unanimously.
The next matter is 1832-23 1 Chestnut Place, apartment 318. Landlord wants the rent increase to go from $1,651 to $1,939 a month. They have reached a new lease. The complaint has been withdrawn. I'd ask you to vote to close the case because it's all done. They have a new lease agreement and everybody's happy.
I move to close case 1832-23.
I second.
Thank you, Lenise. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? All right, motion passes.
The next case is 1834-23, 18 Ferris Avenue, Unit 1. Landlord wanted the increase to go from 1,000 to 1,450 a month. This one, the tenant moved out. The complaint withdrawal has been signed and received. I would recommend that we vote to close this case.
I move to close case 1834-3.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Lenise, I didn't see you come off mute that time.
Aye.
Thank you, Lenise. Any opposed? Any abstentions? All right,
The next matter is 1835-23, 18 Ferris Street, Unit 7. Landlord once again wanted to go from 1,000 to 1,450 a month for one-bedroom apartment. Once again, the tenant moved out. We have a signed withdrawal of the complaint. So I would recommend that you vote to close the case.
I move to close 1835-23.
Second.
thank you, Dora. Thank you, Fran. Any discussion? All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? It's unanimous again.
The next case is 1837-23, 18 Ferris Street, Unit 11. The landlord wants to increase the rent from $700 a month to $1,000 a month. A new lease has been sent to the tenant to be signed. The tenant didn't want to sign the lease until repairs were completed. The repairs have been 99.9% completed. The tenant is out of the area for the holidays. She'll be coming back soon. I think next month this matter will go away because there'll be a new lease in effect. So I would ask you to vote, take no action this month, but I would bet my bottom dollar that next month the case will go away.
I move to take no action on 1837-23.
Second.
All right, any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
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 Thank you. Any opposed? Any abstentions? Okay, motion passes.
Okay, the next matter is 1823-23, 93 Richards Avenue, apartment 102. They want to increase from 1,859 to 2,000 a month. I know they've entered into a new lease. We have not received the complaint. At least, Carlos, did you get the withdrawal of the complaint yet today?
Negative.
Okay, so we're pushing the complainant, since they've entered a new lease, for the withdrawal of the new lease. It says we vote to close the case, but I'm going to change that. I'm going to ask you to take no action this month, because I know you like to have the withdrawal in the file before we close the case. So I would ask you to take no action this month, and we will push hard to get the applicant who filed the complaint to get us that withdrawal of the complaint for next month. Sometimes it's hard, you know, we work real hard, we get them everything we need, and then we ask them for that final document. It's like, it can be like pulling teeth sometimes to get it, but we'll get it next month. So I'd ask you to take no action this month.
I move no action on 1838-23.
Thank
I
you.
second.
I'm going to give it to Lenise. Thank you, Lenise. Fran with the motion, Lenise with the second. Do we have any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion passes unanimously. All right, I believe that ends open cases, and we will go now to new cases.
Yes, once again, Russell Liskov, 1839-23, 6 Elm Street, the first floor. The landlord wants a rent increase from $1,000 a month to $1,900 a month. We opened a file, we have the complaint. We sent out a notification to the landlord, to their management company. It's a little bit tricky because an LLC owns it and they have an agent for service, and we were fishing around today finding stuff. So we sent out another letter to the landlord via certified mail to the agent for service. They've been ignoring us so far. But this case certainly falls within your bailiwick. $1,000 to $1,900 makes you understand why they filed a rent complaint, a complaint to the Fair Rent Commission. So we would recommend that you hear this case.
I move to hear case 1839-23.
Second.
Thank you, Fran, for the motion. Thank you, Dora, for the second. Any discussion? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? All right. Thank you. And that concludes new cases. I will highlight this is the complaint withdrawals for the 2 that we voted, the 3 that we voted.
All wrapped up in nice tidy packages.
Thank you very much. All right, we will go to old business, I believe. Sorry. Yeah, we'll go to old business. Does anyone have any old business that they wish to discuss? Hearing none, any new business? Hearing none, I will take a motion.
I move to adjourn.
You're gonna make me wait on the second, aren't you?
Second.
Okay. Thank you, Dora. All right, all in favor?
Aye.
All right, thank you, everybody.
Thank you,
Thank
everyone.
you.
We'll see. We'll
Carlos,
wrap up more next
appreciate it.
month.
All right.
Appreciate
Everyone,
everyone.
have a
Good
good
night,
night.
everybody.
Thanks,
Good
everybody.
night.
Take
Night.
care. Bye now.
Bye.